The winner of the Guildford Design Award for multiple housing larger than 30 units goes to the Scape student housing here at Walnut Tree Close. The judges were particularly pleased by the way this rather large development is scaled between two separate buildings, where the smaller building faces onto the street and rather hides a somewhat larger building backing onto the railway. We also enjoyed the distinctive architecture between the two different blocks, which gives character, and we really liked the interiors, which are part of the common areas for the students. And I'm here today with the architect, Stephen Marshall, and I'm going to be asking Stephen a few key questions. So Stephen, when you started the project, what were the principal objectives that you wanted to address in having to accommodate such a large amount of student facilities?
As with all the schemes with Scape, they're about creating unique places for students to stay for the period of time that they're at university. So really what they're really interested in doing is, first of all, making it very comfortable, making it very safe, that's the big one, and then making it feel really kind of special. I mean, to make people feel that when they've come here, and they're coming from everywhere. So when you've made that huge journey all the way over here, you really want to feel like you've arrived and you're staying somewhere different. So this particular site here in Guildford was interesting because the context, the kind of townscape context from the road is 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 stories high. So it's fairly low rise. And to get that number of student rooms on the site, we had to find a way of doing it. So rather than putting one big building in the middle of the site that would have stood out and possibly looked awkward, we broke the brief in two and put a small building on the street and put the larger building at the back. And then what's also interesting about that is that it allows you to treat the two different buildings in a different way. So in this particular project, the building on the street fits in much more to an extent with the townscape that's there, the kind of brick colour and those things. The building at the back is the kind of wayward twin.
And when you were designing the project and underway with it, what were the principal challenges?
With the context, we've got a railway at the back, so we've got noise coming in from that side. We've got the road over here, so there's obviously noise coming from there. The site is orientated in a slightly, the site is what it is, but the sun hits it in a slightly funny way. And then when you really want the sun to be filling the garden, which is between those two blocks, it's sort of blocked by the buildings next door to a certain extent. The space between the two was always a thing that was going to bring the two parts of the project actually together. Because in a way, what we have here is we've got student housing that we're in at the moment. And then the other half of the project is called Pause, which is co-living. You can imagine that actually becoming something quite big over the future. We already brought planners down here from London who wanted to see this project because everybody in London is going, co-living, that's a very odd use, how's that going to work? Tiny rooms. But in actual fact, Pause are just like rather generous studio flats. I mean, they're big kind of studio flats. So this building use, I think there's a need for this. It's a kind of bridge between students leaving accommodation, kids leaving school, not being able to find somewhere to rent, or obviously at that stage not being able to buy anything, but not wanting to live in a ghastly place.
And now that you've finished the project and you're able to come back and visit it, which aspect of the project gives you the most delight?
Well, first of all, I should say there is a big team behind this. So we did we basically did the building and coordinated everything, did the construction. So one of the things I enjoy most when I come back are actually the interiors. And a lot of that was done by Abe Rogers, who did phase 1, and a very, very good interior designer as well. So what I enjoy, particularly with this one, is because it was a long site, the plan actually seems to work very well. It's sort of layered through from the entrance. There's a screen, then you're into this bit, which is, if you like, a little bit less noisy. It's people can cook food here, they can sit, they can start. So the idea here is that people can just sit anywhere. They can perch around this, they can sit on a couch. If they want to do something more formal, they can sit in the library. Or if they really want to, crack the theory, there are glass boxes right at the end that you really can close yourself. And I think the colour, the energy, the materials, the lighting, very important. Very, very good designer called Chris Beasley did the lighting.